it's being talked about around here a lot. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a clean house time. Maybe it is. Maybe it's time. And I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin. But maybe it's best for him too.
Sure.
Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best.
That was part of what Ben Roethlisberger said on his podcast a couple of weeks ago, right in the aftermath of the 26-7 loss to the Bills. And it was jet fuel on an open fire for people in Pittsburgh, because you attach the name of the guy who was quarterback when Tomlin won his only Super Bowl, it becomes a much bigger deal. And it became the story of the week until the Steelers beat the Ravens. That was the thing that was consuming everyone. And look, he said what he said. He said what he said. And then last night he said something else. And we'll let you, the viewer and or listener, decide whether or not Ben Roethlisberger brought the mop in the bucket to do a mild cleanup as he was talking to reporters on the night that they gave him some sort of an award at the Steelers game. Here he is.
Just because I said that, there's a time for maybe some new thing, that's just saying that I think, Coach Tomlin, if he wants to move on, he has every right to want to move on. He's not, they should. It's up to him, and he's earned that right, and that, if he wants to go do something else, he can and should, and we should honor him when that time comes, whenever that is. Maybe he wants to coach you for another 10 years. That's fine too. But I don't think I ever critique a player. You know what I'm saying? I'll critique a play, and I think it's acceptable. I think all y'all do that too. And some of y'all critique players as well, which isn't fair necessarily, especially if you've never played it. I've played it, and I think I'm able to critique players if I want, but I still think we all go out there and give it everything we have every week and every play. It's not like guys try to do this or try to do that. So as long as we don't critique the player and criticize them, I think it's okay.
So he was inducted into the Steelers Hall of Honor last night. And I guess he felt, this isn't the place for me to say, yeah, they probably should get rid of the coach. But the way he presented it 2 weeks ago, Devin, it was clear. It's time for a mutual change. It's not time for, it's not time for Mike Tomlin to want to leave. It's time for both sides to explore whether it's the right time to separate. And that's a fair comment. Last night, it's like, well, if Tomlin wants to go, he should have the chance to go. Well, the issue is whether or not the team needs a new coach, not does the coach need a new team. That's how that all came up. So I get it, I understand it, but let's be real about what he said, because it's a different picture he painted last night. And I don't disagree with what he said 2 weeks ago. It may be time, depending upon how the next few weeks go, it may be time for a change. Now they're sitting pretty right now, but it may be time for a change. And then the question becomes, what does the change look like and how does it happen? But it may not come to that, because the what do they say? The night is darkest before the dawn. It got pretty dark against the Bills, but the sun has risen the past couple of games.
Yeah, I've been saying this. I understand the frustration and we just talked about it. If you're a Steeler fan and the standard is the standard, and it's Super Bowls, it's being in AFC Championship games, the opportunity to be I understand that, but I think the biggest thing is, then what? What's next? You fire Mike Tomlin, and then what are we moving on to? Who's the guy that we see fit to come in? And then if you move on from Mike Tomlin this year, and then Aaron Rodgers retires, so now there's new head coach, his expectation or her expectation would be what? What would we expect, and trying to be as realistic as possible for the Steelers to be able to accomplish with a brand new head coach, brand new quarterback coming in. So I think it's tough. And I see what Roethlisberger, especially when you've played for a guy and you know what he expects, how he wants things run, and you start to see, it was the same thing in New England. You get to be a part of a little bit of it, and you start to see what's there. You start to think about that coach's legacy and what it'll mean, and you're like, man, I'd rather that coach just be gone. Just get out of that situation and let what they have accomplished be all that it is and move on. And I think that's a part of it. But I just don't know where the Steelers would turn next if it's not Mike Tomlin.
I've been saying that for years. because there's a pocket of Steelers fans, when they lose 2 or 3 in a row, they want to fire Mike Tomlin. It's like, first of all, who are you going to replace him with? And second of all, are you prepared to watch Mike Tomlin go somewhere else and thrive? Because he will. It's a given. Here's where the Roethlisberger comments from Monday night are fascinating to me. Because when he says Tomlin should be able to do whatever he wants to do and we honor him, what if Tomlin wants to go coach another NFL team and doesn't want his next team to be hampered by having to give up a first-round pick plus as part of this trade, even though it's not a trade? Even though it's not a trade. There's been some confusion out there. It's not a trade. You don't need a no-trade clause in your contract. Every coach has an inherent no-trade clause in this situation, because what happens is new team goes to current team. They work out a deal for compensation if the coach chooses to go work for the new team. And then the new team approaches the coach, and if they don't work out a deal, if the coach doesn't want to go there, it doesn't happen. The coach holds all the power. But if the coach decides, I want to go coach a new team, and I don't want my new team to have to give up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million like the Bucs did for John Gruden, if the new coach wants to go free and clean and says, I've earned that by my 19 years of good and faithful service, that's when it gets dicey. That's when it gets awkward. And Roethlisberger's comments kind of set up a world where his position is, we shouldn't get in his way. We should let him go do that if that's what he wants to do. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.